On your Tuesday episode of Locked On Raptors, no, the Raptors aren't super likely to win a bunch of NBA hardware this year, but if we speak it into existence, they might.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Raptors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is Tuesday, August the 19th, and I am your host, Sean Woodley. I've been covering the Toronto Raptors now for 11 seasons on various platforms. You can find all my work over on Blue Sky. You can find the show on Instagram, and you can join us, of course, in the Locked On Raptors Discord server. Link in the description of the podcast. It's 100% free to join. We'd love to see you become part of our listener family. Yes, we argue sometimes, but it's all in good fun, baby. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Football season's right around the corner. Visit FanDuel and the app today and start planning your futures bets now. And we are going to start the podcast now. And today we are, of course, playing a stupid little game, as we often like to do during the summertime and most times of the year with today's guests. And I got to say, this one's kind of a banger. We will be doing the Longshot Awards Picks Draft. We will explain the rules of that in just a second here, but going to get into some possible award winners for your Toronto Raptors. Likely, unlikely. Either way, we're going to do it draft style, a podcast format that has never been tried before. Looking forward to all of that. And we got, of course, Big Vivek Jacob from Raptors in 7, from Basketball Insiders, from sports casting, from, I don't know, all the whole damn place, working out at the park with his pals, doing lifts, playing spike ball. It's Big V, Vivek Jacob. How the hell are you, pal?
I'm good, man. Love the intro. Love the intro.
Riverside Park or something. Just getting on a sweat, glistening.
Yeah, man. It's the summertime. It's the time to do it. But yeah, loving the heat. We've had this discussion before. We stand on opposite ends of the spectrum with that. But yeah, as I was telling you, I had a good tennis session with a friend of the program, Joe Wilfond.
Hell yeah.
And enjoying all the tennis leading up to the U.S. Open. But, you know, seeing the Raptors schedule come out and all the different stuff that's getting us geared up for the NBA season, let's talk about some awards that the Raptors might be, potentially in line for.
All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's get into the Longshot Awards Draft here, Big V. How this is going to work. We are going to run through, we're going to make 5 picks each. We will decide the order the way we always do by flipping the almighty Locked On Hockey Puck. We'll do that in just a second here. But basically, the concept for this is we're going to pick awards, basically an award and a player we think is likely to win that award. And, you know, sometimes it'll be like a good bet, just like, oh, yeah, that's a likely thing to happen. Sometimes it might be a bit of an outside of the park swing. And you know, all told, we're going to put this to a vote. It's going to be mostly vibes based. You know, which collection of awards picks do you like more? We'll determine a winner and all that stuff on the socials. So you can keep an eye out for that on the YouTube channel and in the Discord and everything. But let's start here, Big V, first by deciding the order of this awards draft. And again, just to clarify, all the awards are available. End of season awards, All-Star, NBA Cup MVP. I've also included end of season counting stat category winner. Basically, any stat that's likely to appear with a little banner or award with a little banner on a guy's basketball reference page is fair game here. We can get creative. We can get outside the box. Let's begin by deciding who's going to pick first. Call it in the air. Heads is the Locked On logo. Tails is blank. What you got? Big V, call it.
Heads.
It's tails. It landed right next to my Cleveland Guardians mascot doll on the on the shelf here. It's tails. I'm going to let you go first, though. I'm a benevolent host. We'll go just back and forth. I kind of want to see where you go first before I start my board. Who you got with your first pick? We'll just go back and forth. We won't do snake draft style. Who you got, Big V, your first pick in the Longshot Toronto Raptors Awards Draft?
Yeah, so I think the most likely award getter is Scottie Barnes becoming an All-Star.
Okay.
I think that you look at the way this season is lining up, the defensive improvement that he showed last season, I think it is most likely that Raptors All-Star selections will come down to who the coaches pick.
Mhm.
So I get that, Ingram might have some juicier numbers, but I think if it comes down to a coach's pick, they'll probably recognize the impact that Barnes is having on what I expect to be a winning season for the Raptors.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I think he is the most logical shot at the Raptors getting some recognition, individual recognition this season.
I'm glad you went boring and chalk to start out with the first pick. I don't feel bad having given you the first pick at all. It's a fair pick. It's probably the most likely one to hit, but come on, baby. We got to get more adventurous here. I will strike back with my first pick here, and I'm torn between a couple of things. I don't think you're going to take this other one, so I'm going to save that for a bit. But I'm going to start with Colin Murray-Boyles for all rookie. Whether it's first or second team, I think he's going to make an all rookie team. Look, he might not play as much as Cooper Flagg or Trey Johnson or VJ Edgecombe or Ace Bailey or any of these guys who are going to kind of be thrown into these teams where they have a lot of responsibility from day one. But I do think he's going to be pretty productive on a permanent basis. And I just think of all the players entering the league this year, he might be the closest to having like a positive on the court skill, non-Cooper Flagg division, which is the defense. I think his defense is going to be pretty instrumental to how this team wants to play on that end of the floor. And I think his driving is like a pretty clear skill need the Raptors have in their mix on offense. It's going to be difficult to sort of mix and match lineups to optimize the space around him. But I think playing with largely second unit guys and maybe some sprinkled in starters here and there's going to be lots of room for him to play with shooters. I think there's going to be a lot of Scottie and Colin Murray-Boyles at the 4-5 to kind of give some space and versatility and switchability to the defense. I just think he's going to play enough and have enough in terms of just raw production to make an all defense team. And I think he probably will net out as one of the most positive rookies just in terms of on-off differential and the sort of under the hood metrics of anyone in the league this year. So Colin Murray-Boyles for an all rookie team is my first pick. Any counter argument to that? Are you mad you didn't get that on your board?
Just quickly, did you say he's going to have a shot in an all defense team?
No. I said all rookie team. Yeah, he's just going to be the best defender probably in the class in year one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I did have CMB all rookie on my board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with you making that selection. Interestingly, when I was looking at the different options, I do think there's a chance that he misses out on an all rookie team purely because of opportunity.
Sure.
And I feel that because I just went down the list and I was able to put together like 10 guys who should get more opportunity than him. And, just going down the list, Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, Con Canupo, Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson, Fears, Damin, Yang Henson, so I think from that standpoint, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I think I expect him to have a decent impact, but at the same time, I don't think he'll be contributing that much offensively. And I feel like with all rookie teams, it does come down to having
points. Yeah,
people
exactly.
love
Points. They're little piggies
people
for
want
points.
the numbers to
You're
pop.
Right. Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, that's why I put the odds of this happening a bit lower down. Like I said, still on my list of 5. So you've taken one off the board. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see if he makes an all rookie team.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's no sure thing. All rookies a tough thing to make, especially in a class that's not last year's class, where everyone was bad. It's a good rookie class this year. A lot of guys are going to have a shot. Derek Queen is going to have a lot of minutes. You mentioned Fears as well. My hope here is that there's a bit more of enlightenment with the voting class this year, where they see, oh yeah, like this guy's clearly like one of the more impactful day one rookies, just because he's like NBA ready physically and is a little more advanced in terms of like playmaking and defense and all that stuff. Maybe this is a little sicko pick, and the voters will not be as clued in, and they just go for points. Let's go with the sorting of the points and pick our all rookie teams that way. But I'm hoping for, again, a more sort of intellectual voting class this year, I suppose. Maybe that is a foolish hope in this world we currently live in. We're going to come back on the other side here, Big V, and continue our picks. You're on the board next. You're on the clock with your second pick in the Longshot Awards Draft. We'll do that coming up in just 1 second. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches for just 24 hours. FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week one even kicks off, this is your moment. As I talked about in yesterday's show, I'm kind of maybe considering getting back into football just a smidge this year after about 6 years of not paying attention at all. I don't know who any of the players are anymore, except for like the quarterbacks who were still around from the last time I watched. But as I said, I'm going to rebrand myself no longer as a fan of the futile Tennessee Titans, but instead the mighty Buffalo Bills. They win a lot, right? There's never any heartbreak with that team. I'm going to bet on that and put some money on the Bills actually winning the Super Bowl this year with my futures bets on Futures Day, August 26th. You can do that as well with your favorite team or a long shot hope that you have. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now because Futures Day is only one day and one day only. August 26th, FanDuel, play your game. Back at it here with Vivek Jacob from Basketball Insiders and Sportscasting and Raptors in 7, his lovely newsletter about your Toronto Raptors, continuing the Longshot Awards Draft going into the 2025-26 Toronto Raptors season. You're on the board, Big V. What's your second pick?
Well, hey, I'm going to stay boring. I am going to go
gladly. I'm going to win.
Scottie Barnes.
Making Scottie Barnes wins an award. Okay. All right. Scottie for all defense. Okay. Make your case.
I think that, the improvement that he showed last season in defending the perimeter, obviously we know how good he is in the back line and protecting the rim. But I think he made real strides in defending the perimeter. I thought his defensive impact was awesome. I think it just went under the radar and wasn't appreciated in national circles in the US because of what the Raptors were record-wise. And I think this is a season where they're going to level up. And I think that people will really start to recognize the player that he is defensively. And so I think there's a good shot at him making an all-defensive team.
Yeah, I made fun of you for being boring. Congrats on your Oops All Scottie roster. But this was one of my picks on the board. I have to do some reevaluation of my board now because it was one of my top 3. I think Scottie for all defense makes a lot of sense. I think your point is well taken that last year his sort of defensive jump was probably missed because no one watched the Toronto Raptors play basketball, which, hey, fair enough. They weren't all that fun. But when he was on the floor, the Raptors were a good defense. When he was on the floor with Jakob Poeltl, the Raptors were an elite defense over the course of 2,000 shared possessions. Not a small sample at all. Playing with a lot of guys who are not so good at defense, I might add. I think he's got sort of, guy who can elevate the floor of your defense type impact and, give it a bit of a ceiling as well. He's really damn good. And I think with some extra defensive reinforcements, another year for Jamal Shead and Jacoby Walter, who I think are showing well out on that end. Colin Murray-Boyle's on the team. I think there's going to even be more insulation there for Scottie. And even frankly, Brandon Ingram's not a great defender, but he is long and not RJ Barrett when it comes to getting back cut into oblivion or Gradey Dick when it comes to his issues on the ball. And so, yeah, I think there's more support there. I think his defense is going to shine. I think the Raptors stand a chance of being a pretty solid defense. Scottie Barnes would likely get some praise and plaudits if that were to happen. Good pick, Big V. My second pick, coming out of left field with this one, an award that's pretty new, award that no one seems to really care about. Brandon Ingram for Clutch Player of the Year. The reasoning for this one, I think, is pretty clear. The Toronto Raptors, going back to the last couple of years, miserable in the half court. And even in games where their offense started to click, you get down to crunch time, the pressure cooker of defense is fully locking in on their beautiful movement system. Sometimes you just got to give the ball to a dude, clear out, and let him score. And the Raptors haven't really had a guy like that before. I think the narrative juice of this really bad offensive clutch time team, giving over the late game possessions to Brandon Ingram, where he can just go make magic happen from the mid-range, create something from nothing just like that. I think he's going to have a ton of opportunity late in games, and he's just like a good shot maker who can create looks and get looks off even under tough circumstances because of how long he is. I think Brandon Ingram stands a real chance of winning the most illustrious of end-of-season awards, Clutch Player of the Year. That is my number 2 pick. Was this on your board, Big V?
I had him as a backup pick. I thought
Okay.
I do love this pick. I think it's a really fun pick. I think that if the Raptors can have enough close games and he can be put in those positions, I do think he's a pretty clutch player, and so I could see him, you know, having just an amazing season where he does make big shot after big shot, and so. As you said, these are long shot awards that we're picking here, and it would be a long shot, but I think it's a good long shot to bet on, and I think this is a really fun pick.
I will say there are a couple of Raptors. I won't name them for spoiler purposes in case you have a pick on the board, who are listed at plus 25,000 to be the clutch player of the year. Brandon Ingram not listed at all on FanDuel. FanDuel, add the line so we can go get some money on Brandon Ingram being clutch player of the year. There are a few guys that have coming up with picks as well that have listings on FanDuel. We'll get into those as they come up as well. We're through 2 picks each. What you got for your third pick, Big V?
So for my third pick, I think this is more in the fun range now that I have my 2 solid picks.
Finally, people can wake up and just turn off the snooze button and listen to the podcast.
We got a lot of Scottie lovers, all right? We got a lot of Scottie lovers on the podcast.
This is very true.
They're wide awake listening to my picks. But with my third pick, I am going with Immanuel Quickley to win the Most Improved Player award.
Whoa! We love this. By the way, on FanDuel, he is currently plus 25,000. Wait, no, that's not the award. He is currently... No, he's not listed on FanDuel to win it. My bad. He's plus 25,000 for a different award we can maybe get to. But yeah, he's not listed for Most Improved. The only player listed for Most Improved is your boy Scottie at plus 6,000, which is actually kind of close odds compared to some other dudes on that list. I think he's in the top 20 or so. But make your case for Quickley. I love it.
Yeah, I think with him, it's been a quiet season on the injury front. I think that maybe he's been a little bit forgotten about, but I think this is a player that, if you look at the Raptors roster and say, who is this season most important for? I think there's a lot of ways that you can argue that it is Immanuel Quickley. Obviously, he got the big contract. He is still someone who has to prove that he is, a starting caliber point guard on a playoff team, and to take that step, from, hey, is he a guy who was maybe better suited for being a sixth man on and having that role that he had with the Knicks, or is he legitimately what the Raptors see him as? And I think this season, if he can come out and do that and be healthy, I think maybe his health factor has become a bit blown out of proportion. If you look back on his career,
of course it has. You're telling me people blew the most recent thing that they heard in their brains or saw with their eyes out of proportion? Shocking.
Yeah. So obviously, 33 games last year, but before that, he played 68, 68, 81, 78, 64. So I'm expecting him to give the Raptors at least 60 games. I think it's more likely that he gets closer to that 70 mark. And I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities to shoot the ball. The Raptors need him to shoot the ball. And, again, if he can have that sort of pizzazz with his 3-point shot, which, I think will capture the imagination of voters or whoever. And he's, say, for example, if he finishes in the top 10 in 3-point makes for the season, then I'm sure he'll at least get some attention in that regard. So I know it's a long shot, but that's what we're doing right here.
I like it. And in fact, I'm going to change up my order of picks here just because, it's thematic and you just mentioned it. My third pick is going to be Immanuel Quickley hits the most threes in the NBA this year. He wins the 3-point makes title. I'm just pulling up the numbers from last season. Look, it was obviously he's nowhere near the top when it comes to regular season 3-point makes on account of injury and whatnot. But the leader this past year was Anthony Edwards at 320. Look, that's a tall order. It's a lot of threes to make. That's an insane amount of threes, by the way. But like you look at Malik Beasley at 319. He was someone who I think operated very much similar to how Quickley is going to work a lot with this team, which is off ball, getting a ton of wide open looks. I think you factor in he's going to play more minutes than he did last year on a per minute basis, probably by at least 5 or 6 minutes, I would guess. And he's going to have that pull-up juice. He's just so necessary to the three-point attack for the team. The volume's going to have to be there. That's constantly been like a rallying cry for Darko Rajakovic is shoot more threes IQ. I think this is the year we see it. And look, I don't think it's likely that he does win it because guys like Steph Curry and Anthony Edwards exist in the world, but I don't think it's out of the question he could do it with a really hot season, some health, and some other guys maybe taking a step back. Malik Beasley might be taking a step back. Just to throw that out there as one guy whose spot might be up for grabs near the top. Immanuel Quickley wins the 3-point makes title. This is going to be my fifth pick, but because of thematic synergy, I wanted to get that in here. Quickley 3-point makes title. There we go. We'll come back into the side here, Big V, get into our final 2 picks and some guys who are actually not all that long shots in terms of like their odds to win certain awards. We'll do that coming up in just 1 second. All right, wrapping it up here with Vivek Jacob, the Longshot Awards Draft ahead of the 2025-26 Raptors season. 4th pick on the board for you, Big V. What you got here for your next one?
So, sticking with the fun picks, again, I just wanted to get my chalk picks out of the way so that we can really have some fun down the stretch. And so with my fun pick, I am going with, because why not, Gradey Dick to win 6th Man of the Year.
Damn it. That was my next pick. And I can't believe I didn't just take him 3rd like I was going to, but I had to be a good podcast host and keep things on theme. Gradey Dick. He is currently tied for 8th in the odds on FanDuel to win this award outright, plus 6,000. I love this pick for you. I'm angry I didn't get it. Give me your case for Gradey Dick, 6th Man of the Year.
Yeah, so with Gradey Dick, I think it was really great that he got the opportunity that he did in the first half of the season, where he was getting all these reps and getting different types of looks and being forced to create and be one of the primary scoring options. I think that accelerated his growth, even if the percentages didn't show it. And I think, if people just look on the surface and say, oh, he shot, 35% from 3 last season, there were a lot of tough looks in there. And I think
it was all tough looks. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And I think now coming into this season where he won't have the pressure of being a starter, where he's going to be coming off the bench and have great looks created for him, I think his shooting numbers should go up. I think, he's going to have a neon green light to shoot the ball. I love the way, one of the things that really stood out from last season was, hey, he's getting like chased off the 3-point line, but he can, put the ball on the floor, pull up for that mid-range. Obviously, we'd like to see the finishing at the basket get better, but I do think those key elements of his game, the 3-point shooting and just, being able to take what the defense gives him when they do chase him off the line, should bode well for a good scoring season from Gradey. And, hey, if everything hits in terms of a Gradey outcome, I could see him sneaking in there for that 6th Man of the Year job.
I think he's going to close a lot of games for this team, man, which is a surefire way to rack up your minutes and, kind of have the total on-court time required to score the points needed to win this award. There's going to be times where his shooting is just necessary out there. If RJ Barrett's having an off night, or even if they just need that extra gravity, like Gradey is going to often be the guy, and they'll just go all offense to close games and ask Scottie and Pirtle to kind of clean up the messes at the back end. I have a lot of hope for how offensively potent the Quickley, Dick, Ingram, Scottie, Pirtle lineup can be. I like this pick a lot, man. I'm sad I didn't get it on my team. It's the first one I really feel jilted over. So good on you. You made me feel sad. Next up for me, my 4th pick. I don't have Scottie Barnes on my team just yet. I'm adding Scottie Barnes to my team now at plus 15,000. He's kind of like 20th-ish in the odds to win this award. I'm going. It's coming out season, baby. October, November, December. The Raptors are about to rule it, baby. Scottie Barnes for NBA Cup MVP is my fourth pick. Look, the Raptors are the kind of team that can thrive in the NBA Cup. Not your, classic contenders saving bullets for the postseason, trying to prove itself, hungry, and sort of just kind of finding itself early on, energized by actually getting to play basketball together in the interest of winning for the first time in a couple of years. I think the Raptors stand a chance of being NBA Cup darlings. Their group is not like that difficult. Yes, they have the Cavaliers, but they also have the Pacers, not the Pacers and love this year with no Tyrese Halliburton, the Wizards, and the Hawks, who I think, yes, everyone's giving them all kinds of helium. Everyone loves the Hawks, but I'll believe the Hawks are serious when I actually see it. I know they had a bit of a nice run last year in the NBA Cup, but, it's tough to repeat that year over year in the NBA Cup. It's just a really difficult tournament to turn out well in each and every year, as we've proven over the 2 years it's existed. So I'm going Raptors are NBA Cup darlings. Scottie Barnes, again, plus 15,000. The most likely of three guys listed for this award. Barrett's at plus 2,250 or 22,500, and then Ingram's plus 30,000. But yeah, I'll take Scottie to win the NBA Cup MVP. Bank it. What you got for your final pick?
Just quickly before I give the final pick, I think it could be an interesting scenario where with NBA Cup MVP, I think like Ingram is a bit more likely to win that than Scottie, because if that comes down to like close games and Ingram is getting the ball in the clutch and making those big shots,
laying groundwork for his clutch player of the year award that he's definitely
exactly.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you saying.
Then because that's a type of tournament where you're not going to recognize the impact of a Scottie as much as opposed to the stuff that all the bells and whistles stuff. Let's call it that.
It's all a fair point. I didn't want to have Ingram for the two awards, frankly.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So, I hear you.
But it's a well-taken point.
For my final pick, this is a fairly new award. I think it's kind of been created to maybe recognize a defender who they can't really give the defensive player of the award to. I hope it changes away from that and just says, hey, this guy hustles so hard that we need to show him
the hustle
some
award.
love. And I am giving the NBA Hustle Award to Jamal Shed.
Hell yeah.
I think people love.
They don't list this on FanDuel. I forgot this is an award. List it on FanDuel. Come on.
So for me, I think anyone that watches the Raptors love Jamal Shed's competitive spirit. I think if the Raptors are successful this season in meeting their goals, I think a lot of people will notice the effort and intensity that Jamal Shed plays with. And I think that will get a lot of support and a lot of love and potentially be a long shot for this Hustle Award.
I like this a lot. This is a great pick. By the way, Jamal Shed is the second most likely guy to win Sixth Man of the Year on the Raptors per FanDuel. He's plus 10,000 right now. I'm not sure I'd put money on that one. I mean, $1 on plus 10,000 is fine, I suppose. As me, the very, very inexperienced gambler, making these, very declarative claims. But yeah, the Hustle Award maybe feels more his speed. And yeah, dude hustles like crazy. I could also see this being an award that Jacoby Walter competes for sometime down the line. Dude plays really hard. I mean, if you're going to give the Hustle Award to someone, make it from someone from Team Try Hard, which the Raptors very clearly want to be. I love that pick. I'm going to go with one that we kind of talked about last week on the show as my fifth pick here. And I wanted to do it to highlight that I was not an idiot for declaring this was a possibility last year. I got a lot of crap from people specifically in the Discord for saying there's no way this guy's going to win Coach of the Year. He's more likely to get fired, obviously. Yeah, Darko Rajakovic, if you go to FanDuel, is tied for sixth best in the odds to win Coach of the Year. And I'm going to put him on here because, yeah, if the Raptors go and do these things, they win the NBA Cup as we've determined they're going to do. Brandon Ingram is winning them clutch games and racking up the win total. They have 6th man of the year, Gradey Dick. All that happens, guess what? Darko Rajakovic is getting a whole lot of credit at season's end, and he is winning Coach of the Year. I have him as my 5th pick. Again, do I think he's likely to win Coach of the Year? No, but this is the long shots draft, and I think of all these shots we've taken, this is actually one of the less long ones, for lack of a snappier phrase. Any retort, pushback on that one, or are you wishing you had Darko on your roster as well?
It's interesting that Darko is that high in the Coach of the Year awards. I'm with you that, I don't think, he's, he should be completely out of the question for Coach of the Year with a team that is expected to significantly improve their win total.
Right. But this is the thing, is they're expected by many to be bad. And yet the recipe is there for them to be good, which is the recipe to win this award. This isn't the best coach. It's the coach of the team that surprised people the most. And
exactly.
Right. You have to understand the psyche of the voters on this one.
Yeah. So I think, again, it's going to come down to the team success. I think if the Raptors finish, say, 3rd in the East, then I think for sure you could see him right in the mix. I think 5th would be like, okay, we can kind of see how that happened. 4th would be interesting. I think 4th would probably get him, in that top 6 range that FanDuel has him as. I think 3rd would be like maybe a finalist, and I think it's a good pick. I think that you look at the options that are left. I think that this is a good pick to finish off.
Yeah, I think we've gone through the board. There's a few that left on there that maybe we can get into that were sort of honorable mentions. We didn't pick anyone to make All NBA. I think Scottie for All NBA is probably, one of my just close misses. Would have been maybe my 6th man on my team. Ingram from All NBA is there too, even though he's only made it once in his career.
Ingram All-Star.
Ingram All-Star is there as well. I had a couple other ones here, a couple of the NBA Cup MVP ones. I had RJ Barrett for 6th man in the event that they just make him the 6th man at some point. There's some narrative juice to that. I had Scottie's plus 25,000 as his RJ for Clutch Player of the Year. I went with Ingram, who again is not listed for that award. I think that's a missed opportunity there. Did you have any honorable mentions? There was Colin Murray Boyle's Rookie of the Year. He's plus 15,000 for that award. He's a pretty far long shot. Any other long shot awards that you did not pick that could have made it for you?
No, I kind of was able to get everything that I wanted. I think you had a really good one with the NBA Cup MVP and the Clutch Player of the Year. I think those are 2 fun ones. So yeah, I think across both of us, we kind of got all the fun ones out of the way. Yeah,
it would have been nice to just declare Colin Murray Boyle's Rookie of the Year, but that felt stupid, so I didn't do it. Big V, that's going to do it for the Longshot Awards Draft. I think this was a fun, stupid little game, if you don't mind me saying so. Anything you want to promote for the good people out there to wrap things up?
Just the usual stuff. Raptors in 7, Basketball Insiders, Sportscasting. Raptors in 7, I did like a whole schedule breakdown. I might have some bonus content coming to you today. But besides that, you can follow it all on Twitter and Blue Sky at Vivek M. Jacob.
Hell yeah, brother. Join the Discord. Link in the description of the podcast. Come and tell us who has the best team. We'll put that out on the socials. You can let us know. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening throughout the off season. Go listen to the Bobby Webster reaction episode yesterday if you want to hear me talk about that and Rogers and Keith Pelly and our new overlords over at MLSE. We've got, of course, tomorrow a fun episode. James Herbert from CBS Sports, a longtime friend of the show, will be back on. We're going to talk about the best, worst, and medium outcomes for the Raptors this coming year. And then later in the week, Katie Heindel, our dear pal. It's been far too long since we did a Toronto Raptors summer vacation watch. That's coming up on Thursday as we continue a 4-episode week. You get a little extra treats this week because stuff happened on Monday. Either way, thank you so much for rocking with the show. Talk to you very soon. Thanks for hanging. Bye-bye. Oh, 2 in a row.